And I ain't hit no drop in a minute. No, I'm about my business.
Rappers Guide Podcast, episode 21.
21.
I'm your host, Diggy Metro.
Bailz Pagliacci.
And today we want to talk about your hometown and being a hometown hero or feeling like you have to be a hometown hero. But first, I want to turn down my headphones because they're super loud.
So for all you hometown heroes out there, you don't have to be a hometown hero to make it in the music industry. You don't always have to feel like you have to have your city be behind you or your state to be behind you. Because when you think about it, any rapper that you probably heard that's made it, they always say, my city or my state was kind of the last to ever like get on board with what I got going. And sometimes a lot of people may go out to Cali. I know a lot of New Jersey artists sometimes do that too. They go out to Cali, maybe go to Georgia, just to build a name for themselves instead of just, staying within their state. So that's kind of something we kind of feel like there's a problem in New Jersey, right? Like
I used to think of it as a problem in New Jersey, and now I just see it as a problem worldwide.
Universal, right?
It's not a problem in New Jersey. I think that New Jersey just has a lot of people and a lot of congestion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier for us to be like, yo, people don't fuck with me because there's mad people here.
There's a lot of people to fuck with.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that like in places where there's less people, it might be more obvious when people are like hating on you.
Yeah.
Because there's not a big pick of the litter, but like
a rap in
it
Dakota.
doesn't feel the same way when there's probably towns out there that like have a population of 500. So if they're not fucking with you,
you're gonna know they ain't fucking with you.
It's super personal. You know what I mean? And over here, but also like it's only 500 people in the whole place. So like if they're not fucking with you, you're like, all right, whatever. It's just these 500 people.
Yeah,
but like
I go to the next town over.
In Jersey, there's like thousands.
Yeah.
So like when people aren't messing with you, it feels like the world is not messing with you. You know, and I think that that's one of the things that Jersey feels like it's more harmful, or it feels like it's more hurtful over here because there's so many fucking people. And like when you see someone getting support and you see like the tides have turned their way and everyone's fucking with them, it feels like the world's fucking with them.
That's true.
And it also feels like the world is not fucking with you.
Because I looked at it that way at one point too. Like I definitely seen it like, yo, everybody's fucking with this person, not fucking with me. Why? But then that also brought into me trying to find ways to go outside of it, which I did find, which is Facebook ads. If you guys don't know that, we talk about all the time. But once you go outside and you start seeing people are actually listening to the music, you're like, oh, I don't need my hometown as much as I thought.
You'll never need your hometown. Like, all right, we're talking about business, right? Fuck music for a second. Like, let's just stick to business. And if you were a businessman and you wanted to develop communities, right? Say you wanted to purchase land and you wanted to build these like high rises, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
How nuts would it be if you were like, I'm only going to do it in the town I was raised in?
It'd be fucking crazy.
It wouldn't make any sense,
Yeah, you
right?
put limitations on yourself for no reason.
Like the success of you in that town, you might even realize like this town is not even made for this.
Yeah.
This town doesn't have the land that I need to actually do this. So like with music, seeing it as a business, yeah, like people that open businesses, they want to go to like populated locations.
Mm-hmm.
Same concept, right? Like if you move to a California and there's more people in that space that are like doing creative art, it just makes more sense to build up your business there than it would make sense to build up your business in a small town. But we don't view it like it's business. We view it like it's this like personal
thing against us.
And it's not. It's just business, basic business, bro. Like if you want to blow up, if you want the most people to consume your product, you want to be in an area that's populated like that. And an area that the demographic enjoys what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or like they enjoy that genre for us. You know what I mean? Or it might be like yo, when they open a Starbucks, you ever seen those things on the road? It's like a big strip of rubber and you drive over it and you're like, what the fuck was that thing?
Yeah, what's the point of that?
That thing is just tracking how many people drive over it in whatever time frame.
The fucking government.
That's what it is. Like, and it's for businesses. So like if I'm Starbucks and I want to know the traffic that drives by, they throw down one of those, they see how many people rolled over it in this time frame. Okay, so that's my potential clientele, right? Every business builds up like that.
That's crazy that you know what the hell that was for. I honestly feel like every time I hit it, it's like I'm hitting a dead body and just going to keep moving. Like, fuck it. I'm never going to look back.
Every single business does that. Like major businesses.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because we did the same thing at Best Buy. We was tracking the people that we wanted you to come through one door so we could see how much traffic is coming in to be able to know how much we can potentially sell.
Exactly. And the same applies to music. And if you move to an area that has a big hip hop population, you know that there's a lot of people fucking with hip hop like the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you know that you have more potential to gain following or gain fans if you're in those areas. If you're coming up in a small town, like, yo, where I grew up
Mhm.
in like Carlstadt, East Rutherford area, there's not a lot of people. So like for you to think that you're going to make it in that town and not just make it in the town, because like, what does that even entail, right? But like for you to think that your following is going to come from that town is just ridiculous because there's not that many people. There's not enough people for that to even be the case.
And I think a lot of times the concept in the artist's mind is my hometown or my city has to be the first to, support me or get behind me, or I'm not going to be able to get anywhere. And that's honestly the wrong mindset.
Well,
to
I also
have.
think people think that they have to like they owe something to the town that they were raised in, as if they had a choice.
Also true.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, if you blow up, like you don't have to. You're not obliged to big up Jersey City. You
That's
don't
true.
have to do that.
That's true. 'Cause I
Especially
could
if
be
Jersey,
anywhere.
especially if Jersey City wasn't the one that put you on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, if your following grew in fucking Minneapolis, like you're gonna feel more
Inclined to speak about what's going on
you
over
feel
there. 'Cause
great
that's more of
about
a home.
them.
Yeah. That's gonna be more
like
of a home in
they
a
actually
sense.
accepted you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where like your own hometown didn't accept you. So for us to turn around and be like, no, this is where I love and this is where I live, like they don't love you like that.
Mm-hmm. It's the whole perception of once he becomes something, now let's try to attach to it. Let's say, oh, we always support. But for the most part in the artist eyes, you see who's really supporting and who's really not supporting. You always see it. It's very clear.
We didn't mean to land on this topic, and I'm so happy we did because I forgot about it entirely. I just read something the other day where they were saying that more often or now more than ever, people are capable of making it in any location
Yep.
than they used to be.
Yep.
And I don't want an artist at home, like I don't want a young kid who reads an article like that to perceive it as, oh, so blowing up in my small town is a thing,
Mhm.
right? It's more about outreach.
Yep.
And it's more about the fact that now you don't necessarily have to just focus on your town because like Bailz was saying with like a Facebook ad or, anything like that, like any advertisement, you could be well known in South America. Like Bailz is building a following in South America.
Yes, I am.
You could be in some small rinky-dink town in New Jersey and no one from the town could know you, but they could all know you in South America.
Yep.
So like when you read an article like that, that's more or less what they're saying. They're saying that like you have more opportunity now to blow up elsewhere than ever before. And I remember we had a conversation with Dollar Sign and Twan. And in that conversation, I remember saying that I don't think that word of mouth and I don't think that hand to hand is as important anymore as it used to be.
It's definitely not important because the internet has taken the reins of that. Like you literally, either whether it be a TikTok, whether it be Instagram, it's all just accessible to you online. Like the amount of followers that I've been able to get, it even shows it's kind of weird. Like it'll show I have some followers in Jersey City, but then others, like I have more followers that's coming from like Peru or maybe more followers that's coming from Mexico or Brazil. And Spotify just recently came out with this analytics about, how much people are listening to music. And they say that Latin America is the biggest, one of the biggest places where people are listening to music right now. So all the Hispanic countries, they want to listen to music. I'm not sure if they completely understand it, but they want to hear something and they want to get like a feel or a vibe. And that's who is listening to the most music. So when I see me blowing up in Mexico, Brazil, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path.
Let me ask you a question. If you wanted to listen to Brazilian bossa nova music, right?
Who's Bossa Nova?
Bossa nova is the genre.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if you wanted to listen to bossa nova music, Brazilian bossa nova music, where would you look for the top artist in that? What country?
Oh, Brazil.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that would just make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay, if people want to hear hip hop, they go to the source of where it came from. That's
Like-
just how it works. That's how it works with any type of music. If I want country music, it would be fucking weird if I went to like Jersey City.
It would be weird.
Right? Like I'm not looking for it there. I'm gonna look at some like Nashville
Yeah.
or down south. I'm gonna look for those people if I'm trying to listen to that genre. So like hip hop will always be an American thing. It's accepted everywhere else.
Mhm.
Other places are trying it.
But you gotta go, you gotta come here.
But
to
like
be able
if
to
you
get
want
it.
the real thing, It's like going to Colombia for cocaine.
Or getting your body done for the women out there.
Right. But no, if you're like, if you want the exact thing how it's meant to be done, you're gonna go to America for it. Like just for hip hop.
And that makes so much sense. Even R&B for the most part, even though I think Adele kind of took over. Is she R&B? Adele?
I'm not sure. I mean, she's a pop star
Yeah,
now.
I don't want to like box somebody.
I guess she's R&B. She's
but like if you
soulful.
want R&B, you're gonna come to America. You come looking for it, and you know we're the ones that kind of set the culture. We're the ones that set the trends, and sometimes you just have to set those trends in those other countries for it to circle back around to America.
But see, we also don't set every trend. Like New York drill music.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the UK.
That's from the UK.
And that was never our thing, but that's why it sounds like such an outside music to us, because it's not our thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, yo, you could be an American artist and make bossa nova from Brazil, like Brazilian bossa nova music, but like, is it going to sound exactly like the Brazilian shit? No, because like, yo, they're probably working on instruments that they have there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what they do. And when you listen to like hip hop from a different country, a lot of the time it sounds like they're trying to emulate what we're doing the same way it would sound like we're trying to emulate Brazilian bossa nova music if we're making it.
Yeah. It is,
like you could tell what's the real shit and you could tell what's not the real shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not a knock on other countries and their hip hop, but like it's just, you could just tell that there's a slight difference in like the authenticity of it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because even when I did the song Jungla, I was like, I'm making a like a Latin song, but at the same time, it's like it has the elements of it, but it's not fully there. So you can tell I'm kind of half-assing it, but it was able to be done. But you can tell that it's not the same as if somebody was a reggaeton artist and they were making the song.
It's like when Drake tries to put on a UK accent. It's like you just could tell he's not from the UK. Like that's why it kind of sounds corny.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know it's not the real thing.
Yeah.
As close as he might be and as much as he's trying to be the real thing, like you could just tell it's not. So it's different. Same way like when he's trying to do Afrobeat and stuff. If you listen to actual Afrobeat, like African music, it doesn't sound like fucking one dance.
And sometimes I'll suck my teeth at it, but then I realize it's a vibe, so it's like I don't really care anymore. But when I first hear it, it's just like, oh,
but see, that's the thing. Like, bro, there are artists in London that are making boom bap and they're fire.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere you go, you could be good at something. Like, just because you're trying to make an emulation doesn't mean that you won't be good at it. Just like there's probably some bossa nova producers in the United States that are fucking great at that shit. And maybe they go to Brazil and they're accepted there. Just like if we hear a fire ass UK artist and they come to America, we're going to ride with them.
Yeah, we're going to open arms.
You know, when Skepta started working with American artists, and we were like, oh shit, Skepta's dope as fuck.
Yeah.
He was accepted. Like, it wasn't like we were like, nah, fuck that UK shit. But again, like, you have to come here. Just the same way that people come to America for opportunity in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like in hip hop, if you want to blow up, like really blow up, your best chance of doing that is being in America, where hip hop is the thing.
And that's kind of, would you look at that the same way like the NBA too? Because this is probably like
it's
that random.
No, same exact thing. Like same concept. Like, yo, you could be a Luka Doncic in the Euro League, and he's MVP. He wins a championship. I think he was 19 or like 17. He was a league MVP, youngest ever. Where'd he go? Right the next year
to America.
Like, he could have easily just ran that league forever, but why would he do that?
Because he know what the best.
He wants to go.
Yeah,
exactly. He wants to go where the cream of the crop is, and that's the same with hip hop in America. Like, the dopest artists from other countries want to come here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not some arrogant shit. Like, that's just a fact.
And a lot of times I'll see like the people that are following me, I'll look into it. And usually they are artists or DJs from those other countries. And they're just probably just trying to figure out the sound, or they're trying to
tap in.
Exactly.
That's what they're doing. They're trying to tap in because they're like, oh, he's American. Yo, I've had UK artists hit me up to do tracks, and they're very particular about what they want to. Yo, I want like a J. Cole type verse.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one UK artist hit me up and he wanted to do a track like there was a Skepta song with, I forget who was on the chorus, but it ain't safe on the block. There was an American artist on the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds nothing like me. This UK artist is like, yo, I want to do a track like this. And the only attachment he had was that He knows that's an American on the chorus,
Mhm.
and he thinks that because I'm American,
That you just
I could do the
automatically know how to
same,
do it.
same exact thing. You know what I mean?
You can do it, man. You're American.
Like,
no
you're
problem.
American. You have the same dialect as
No
him.
problem. Go do it.
Do that, you know? But to bring it all back, and we're talking about blowing up in other places
Mhm.
and not necessarily having to work from home and like build a following from home.
Yeah.
Right now is the best time for that. And why I brought up the $sign and Twan episode is because they also said that they think that performing is still the best way to gain following. I disagree. I think that we're at a point right now where I don't think you ever have to perform again if you didn't want to.
You know what's funny? I really sometimes sit there and I think about, how I am as a person. Like I love performing. I love being on stage, whatever the case may be. But I don't think that's something that I would necessarily have to continuously do, especially if I can continue to build a following with the streams for my music. Eventually I can do like tours and stuff, but it's like I don't technically have to go out and do a show to network. And even sometimes when I see like local shows happening, a part of me wants to tap into those shows and be a part of them. But another part of me is like, that's really not my strong suit. That's not really what
Listen,
I'm working towards
majority of artists don't want to perform.
Yeah.
But when they throw a bag at you, like yo, if you're a decently known, like if you're a Currency,
Mhm.
I think that you're pulling in like $20K for a show. If you know that you could go up on stage for an hour and make $20,000 and you don't do that shit, it depends where you're at. But like knowing that streams don't bring in money,
Mhm.
knowing that album sales don't really do anything anymore because no one's buying CDs.
Mhm.
You could sell merch and maybe make some decent money. But even that, like, yo, you got shirts made, right? A cheap shirt is like $10.
Yeah.
And to sell it, people don't want to pay $30 for it.
Yeah.
So you got to sell it for what, 20?
Yep.
People give you shit for selling it for 20,
Yep.
right? So you sell it for 15. You made $5 per shirt, which that's not terrible. You made 50% of it of the actual cost, but it's not great money
Yeah,
by
you ain't
any
getting
stretch
rich
of the
overnight.
imagination. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're probably not getting rich off merch in the first place. So doing shows is the only real way in hip hop to make good money outside of like advertisements and shit like that.
And that's always been the case since like the beginning of rap, honestly.
It's always been the case.
Yeah.
So that's why people do shows, because if you talk to a majority of artists, like a lot of them don't want to do performances, but that money will change your mind.
I think about that show all the time. Like if I had to do like a full like a tour thing, I would love to do it, but then it's like, damn, I got to perform every night. My voice gonna be hurting.
You got to perform every single night. You got to be on a bus going throughout the whole country. You don't get sleep.
I already got hip problems. So I don't need
You're
to be
not
sitting down
recording
more.
music, like especially if you get to a certain point. Like a Drake, he's probably performing on years that he has albums out.
Mhm.
He's probably performing out of 365 days, maybe like 280 days.
I mean, my guy be out here with them ice baths and the fucking compression leg thing. Like he just played a full fucking playoff game.
But he's jumping around the whole time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That shit's definitely taxing.
Yo, when you're in your 30s and you're jumping around, like, bro, I play basketball. I played basketball last Saturday. My feet fucking hurt for a week. I played basketball like a month ago and my whole body was killing me for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. The
I just can't
regeneration ain't the same.
It's not the same. So imagine you're sleep deprived. You're probably not eating the best because if you're on the road, like you're just picking up whatever's there,
Mhm.
right? So you're not in the healthiest place, and then you're jumping on stages, and you're probably consuming alcohol because like nerves still kick in. You
Yeah.
still got to do
Rap
something,
life.
or you're smoking bud.
Rap life.
You're not living a healthy lifestyle, and then you have to be on the road every day. So I could understand the exhaustion from that, and also like that doesn't sound like something that's enticing to me. But also, I've worked some jobs where I have to bust my ass for way less than 20 grand
Mhm.
in an hour.
So I'll be on that stage fucking tap dancing.
So I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Don't
like
give a
it would
fuck.
have to come with the right price. Like you as an artist can dictate that once you build that following. And that's what's beautiful about this conversation is that we're at a point in time where you can build an entire following without ever leaving your house.
And it's crazy because I see so many successful artists on YouTube that they literally just sit in their home and they just make music. And if they want to have a show, if they book something, they can go. But for the most part, they just stand in their house doing whatever they want to do. You don't have to be that person.
DJ Academics built an entire career off of being in his mom's basement and streaming on Twitch.
And you know what's funny? I was about to mention Twitch too. Recently, they just came out that for like a person to make over $50,000 a year as a rapper, you only need like 183 fans on Twitch to really support you. They did like a bunch of analytics or whatever the case may be, and this recently just came out. You need 183 people to be able to provide you, like true fans, to be able to provide you $50,000. And you may think as a rapper, 50,000 that's nothing. Most people in the world is not making $50,000.
You need 183 paying fans.
Yeah, paying fans. Yeah, paying fans. That's the key word too.
You might need 500 to 1,000 fans. And out of those, and that's still stretching it, you might need 10,000 fans for 183 to purchase or to donate.
Twitch is a little weird, bro.
No, but I'm telling you, like, yo, if you have 20,000 people on there, maybe 200 are willing to donate. Just, I mean, you've watched Twitch streams before,
Yeah,
right?
they just be throwing like 500, 300.
Right, but like, have you ever donated? I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm the guy who you're looking for if you're trying to get a donation for a Twitch stream, right? And I wouldn't say that I'm the only person that feels like that. So there's probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people out there watching Twitch and never donating.
Because, bro, I love Cole, but I was on his website to get like purchase some of the merch for the off season. I'm just like, I'm not buying that. Fuck it. I'm just not.
It's too expensive.
That's too expensive. For a shirt, I'm not paying $61. I love you, but I'm not doing it, bro.
Also, it's like at that point when you're like highly paid and when you know that they're getting $100,000 a show, like a Cole.
That shit popped in my mind too. I'm like, I'm not giving him the money.
I don't have to give you $80 for a t-shirt.
I should support like a local artist that's not charging me $80 and try to get them off the ground up. And that's another thing too. Start trying to recycle that money within the community of independent artists instead of, trying to throw it to the bigger names.
Support your homies too. Like just support your homies.
Support.
It doesn't have to be financial. Like it could just come in the bro, posting music is a big way to support someone and posting whatever they're doing. Like, yo, I had a dude that went to my high school. He started making these coasters. I have one on the table right now.
Mm-hmm.
He was making these coasters where he would cut up a box of like a beer box,
mm-hmm.
and he would take the box and laminate it onto these coasters. And I thought it was dope, so I purchased them.
And that's what it's supposed to be like.
Like when I see someone doing something dope, I'll purchase. Like,
mm-hmm.
I don't care if we have a relationship. I don't like if it's cool, I'll purchase. But there's not a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
And that's why the hometown thing is bullshit, because it's like people in your hometown aren't the ones that support you.
They're really not. And you always find out that the people that are, they like that whole saying like, oh, there's people that I've known my entire life who hasn't supported me. But there's people I probably met like 3 or 6 months ago and they support me way more. It's just like, it's the same thing that applies when it comes to paying for anything. It's sometimes so hard to get the people around you to support you. And then if you don't have that support, you start feeling like I'm not worth anything, but that's not necessarily the case. You just like stuck in this box, but that box is open. You're just putting a lid on it.
But here's where I'll give them some credit. The people that aren't supporting you from your hometown, they have personal feelings about you.
Also true. Yep.
Like, yo, maybe one of those people you were a complete dickhead to. Like, it could be one day in high school, you just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, you came in, you were just a complete piece of shit, and that's the only memory that they have of you. Do you think that they're going to purchase your album?
Nope.
Probably not. Unless they're just like, that's the type of person they are, where they're like, yo, fuck that. He probably had a bad day.
Or they think shit is fire.
Most people are going to be like, yo, fuck that dude.
Yep.
Right? When someone follows you off of your music and they only found you from music, they don't have a personal feeling about you. They don't give a fuck. And even their personal feeling they might have about you is only what you're showing them.
Yep.
You know, one of the great things about doing a podcast is that like it's easy for someone to kind of tune in and then choose whether or not to support me or you, because they could see where our heads at.
Yeah.
They could see what we're about.
Mm-hmm.
They could tell that, like, they could tell the type of person you are. So it goes beyond just hearing a dope song and supporting someone. It's more like, yo, I actually like that person. And because I like that person, I'm going to follow them in whatever they choose to do. And I'm going to support them. And that's the dope shit about podcasting, is that you can build that. I actually just told, shout out Schwiggy. I just told Schwiggy the other day that he should start a podcast because he has a good personality. And to me, it's the best way to gain a following, because not only are they like, yo, I did that podcast with my homies that I grew up with, and people would listen to that podcast and then they would find my music through that podcast, just like searching my name. why is his name Diggy Metro on a podcast with his friends, right? Search my name, find my music, and then I would see them posting my songs, but off the podcast. They didn't come from the music.
And Spotify also was recently trying to like introduce something like that, where they're trying to make you like, not make you, but you're essentially like an artist, yes, but then they also want you to kind of like have a radio show to get more personal with your fans. So that's also something they've been talking about too, like trying to get that in the works.
I think that being an artist means that you have a personality. Good or bad, it means that you have some sort of personality,
Yeah.
right? To showcase that, look, just dropping music alone in 2021 is not it. Like it's just not. It's just not it. Like yo, you're gonna try your whole career for a couple fans. Like it's just not it. You have to do other things.
It is not.
And I'm not saying you have to do other things in the creative. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be like, oh, you have to shoot videos and you got to do this. But like you have to try other ways to gain following. And like what I don't want to do is be the guy who's constantly posting on Instagram and be the guy who has to put up content every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm keeping that up because I just don't have time for that shit.
I hate
personally.
Doing it too.
I can't do it.
I don't like doing it either.
And with that, if you can do a weekly podcast where you showcase your personality, you're not required to do as much on Instagram because you're already giving them your personality for an hour a week.
Through IG, yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're giving them that content that they're looking for anyway, because people do, in this generation, people do want to know who you are and what you're about.
What you got going on, they want to see you.
It's way different than back in the day where like you had that mystique factor. That shit does not exist anymore. And if you want to be that guy who like is anonymous, my guy Datamash for a long time, he wouldn't show his face. I'm talking about to the extent that the first time I met him was the first time I saw him.
I was about to say, who the fuck is this guy?
He pulled up to my crib and I was expecting like a little white dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a completely different person than what I thought. And he like walked into my crib and we're like working on records together. But I had never seen his face. And I've told him a million times, like, that's not the way anymore. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I understand that because, yo, a lot of us are introverted and we don't want to
give too much of ourselves.
Right. But you have to.
Especially when you want to be in the entertainment field. That's just the whole part of it. Just like
it's
entertaining.
Required.
Yeah.
And the people who have blown up being anonymous probably had some sort of connections.
Yeah, because the only person I can think of is MF Doom. Like,
well, there's a guy named Makami now that's the same thing. He wears a mask. He wears a I think it's a Trinidad flag, or no, Haiti rather. It's a Haitian flag on his face. There's been artists that have done it, right? The Weeknd came up like that.
He had that fucking whole plastic surgery shit thing.
He never showed his face.
You know what's funny? I didn't even realize that until now you mentioned that. I didn't know what the fuck he looked like either until like...
A lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
When he dropped House of Balloons and all that shit, like he never showed his face. But that was a different era. Like that was the blog era. We're no longer in the blog era. Like, yo, what we have to do, and what do we always say about this podcast? Like we're trying to bring people up to date.
Up to date.
Right? Like people look at what worked for people 10 years ago and they go, I'm going to do that.
The same thing.
It's not 10 years ago, bro. And honestly, this game changes probably every 5.
Because right now we're in the live streaming. Everybody wants to be on IG Live. But now, if you even noticed it, before was IG Live, IG Live, IG Live. Now it's going to, yo, follow me on Twitch. You're seeing a lot of rappers now. All of a sudden, now they're all on Twitch. So now we're jumping into that live streaming world. There was even some app that recently reached out to me where they wanted me to like sign into the fucking app and then just be like either doing like cover songs for other people or just doing my songs. And they were getting paid for it. Like people are making money off it right now. I went on the app and I seen what they were doing. I was like, I'm not doing this. But that's another, like the live streaming thing is what's right now. Like live stream. Everybody will live streaming.
What worked 2 years ago might not work today.
Exactly.
And that's what people need to understand. Like I feel like I say that fucking phrase so much. That's what people need to understand. Because that's what we're trying to do. You know what I mean? So if I sound repetitive doing that, I apologize. But that's what we're trying to do is just constantly give you keys and
feed
tips.
You information constantly because it got to stick eventually.
But like, don't look at what your favorite artist did fucking 10 years ago and try to build up your blueprint off them. Because like their shit worked at that time. There's a good book, Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about that. He talks about how like people came up, like Bill Gates came up and Steve Jobs came up at the same exact time. And in the time they were coming up, computers, you had to like move cards physically,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they just came up at a perfect time for them to get into that.
Technology space. What
Right.
I feel.
And because they came up at that exact time, they were able to capitalize.
That's why they were so successful.
But if someone came up 10 years later, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it's like the same thing. Like even right now, like I understand like for live stream is a thing, but sometimes I tend not to live stream. I'll be trying to do it mentally in my head, but then I just never get around to doing it. But that's something that I'm in the works of trying to start processing. Like, get it, because I have a personality for it.
What our problem is that you and I both started working on music a long time ago. Camera went off, but let's just continue.
Yeah.
You and I started working on music a long time ago. What worked a long time ago is completely different than what works right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have like an inkling of like, that's what I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it all the time with artists our age that have been in it as long as we have. They're still doing the shit that they were doing 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
Yep.
And you're like, as you start to gain more understanding of the business and you start to really like comprehend that, oh shit shifts, you stop doing those same kind of processes. But it's hard when that's what you've trained your brain to think
it's really
is
hard
what's
to
working.
transition over. Like it's like so hard because like I don't want to fucking be on FaceTime at like 11 o'clock at night having a set schedule. But that's kind of what.
But then you know what that makes you though? That makes you like that makes you those old people that didn't want to get into computers, or those old people that didn't want to get into phones. It's like, bro, that's just how the world works. Like technology grows, and then you have to go with it, or you're gonna get left behind.
Because then after a while, you're like, can you help me do this? Like, can you help me figure out how to do this on a computer?
And you see artists doing that all the time. Like
that's
artists
true.
that came up in our generation, they're literally doing that right now. Like, yo, how do I do the streaming thing? Yo, how do I do the advertisement thing? It's like, fam, if you're trying to make it in this shit,
you need to know these things.
You have to understand these things. Like it's not negotiable.
And they're there for you to find. They're not being hidden. Like people out here giving the jewels, they're giving the gems.
Or you have to have money.
Yes, that's true as well.
Because with anything in life, if you don't want to figure out, like if Bill Gates, that's a bad example because he's a tech guy. If your dad didn't want to fucking learn a phone and he could afford to pay someone to like configure his phone, he could do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if he wanted to pay for like a short class at the local library that will teach you how to use a fucking cell phone.
Yeah.
I don't know if that exists, but like if he wanted to, he could pay them and they'll teach him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can still get shit accomplished in music by paying people to do it for you. People will do services. People will advertise your music for you.
Yep.
There are these services that exist, but look, you can't approach it with no money and no understanding and think that you're going to go anywhere.
Yep. You're going to have one or the other, or you're going to have both.
Gain understanding, learn the shit, and fucking get good at it, or get some money and fucking pay someone who's good at it. But if you don't want to do either of those things, you might as well hang it up. And that's just me being real with you.
Hang it the fuck up.
You know, like, bro, I feel like in this game, way too often, people think that they could just do as they please. And then when there's no results, they fucking get confused. Like, well, why is it not working for me? Because, yo, you are your own worst enemy and you're your problem. Like, you're not trying to shift with the times. And that's going to always hold you back.
I even said that on Rent Do. It's like, when I look back on my life, I can't blame anybody else for the things that I didn't do. It's based solely on me. I can come up with as many excuses as I want to, but if I end up in a shitty ass fucking 9-to-5 job until I'm like 65 years old, I chose to do that.
Bro, morning after I said, and if I never make it, I wasn't working hard enough.
Exactly. That's it. Same mindset.
It's you.
Simple.
It's you. Like if you sat there and you've been working on music for 10 years and shit's not working, and I'm a perfect example of this, you know, like I'm not someone who could say like I'm not an example of this. I'm a perfect example of me trying to build a music career and it not going anywhere, and it was all by my own doing. And when you comprehend that, it makes life easier that you know, okay, if I want shit to blow up or I want shit to go somewhere, I have to change my ways.
Yep.
Like me personally, big problem. Never wanted to shoot music videos. I hate being in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Always did. Like I don't mind talking in front of a camera on a podcast.
But like rapping in front of a camera.
But rapping in front of a camera, something about it always felt corny to me.
It's the hands.
It's the rapper hands. But it's also just the idea that like this is fake and it's not really happening. Like yo, lip syncing words while like a song's playing on your phone. Like it just doesn't feel like good to me.
Yeah.
It's not a performance where you're like at a show and there's actually music and people are actually like digesting it. So it was always harder for me because it's not reality.
I can understand that.
It's this fake space that we're like trying to, and that's why like I really like videos that have nothing to do with the
like
song.
the abstract shit.
I love abstract videos or shit that just your eyes are like drawn to
pleasing.
it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it doesn't require the person to like put on a fake performance.
Yeah.
I think that like those type of videos, because with a music video, bro, rappers that like are in a hallway somewhere and they're just rapping with a bunch of people behind them, like it's been done a million times. It'll never be the thing that draws someone to you. At the end of the day, if you shot a video like that, people are excited by the song, not the video.
Because that's rinse, recycle, repeat at that point.
Right. Like there's nothing exciting about the video. So like in my head, you might as well not shoot the video if that's what you came up with.
Yep. I agree with that totally.
The most exciting parts of my videos that I do have are never me. In my one video for Dollar Bills, I have my homie fucking fake breakdancing in the background.
Hilarious, bro.
Most exciting part of that whole video.
Because I did not know that he did not know how to breakdance until you told me.
Like he's just fake breakdancing in the background.
I would never
and
known.
I told him, yo, please fake breakdance in the background. Because I just wanted people to look through me and see something going on in the background and be like, what the fuck is that dude doing?
Yeah, bro. That shit was funny.
In my Empty the Clip video, more serious video, there's B-roll and Vizo was able to take like clips of a drone shot going over like fields and going over this stuff. And that's what is aesthetically pleasing with that video. It's not me.
It gives it that whole cinematic vibe.
Gives it the vibe.
Yeah.
Right? So like a lot of the time what makes a video dope is not necessarily you, it's the shit that you have going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that rappers need to learn that that's something that you need to focus on as well. Like I was saying, like that's one of the things in my career that I've done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I just never wanted to get into the visual setting.
And I just wanted to be a goofball and just imagine that everything was going to fucking just throw itself at me. And that was one of the things, that was the hardest thing I had to fucking get over that, yeah.
Like because we all had this mentality that like, it'll come one day, I just got to wait on it and be patient. It'll never fucking come.
Nope.
It'll never come. You'll literally be broke. You'll have to get a job. And once that money starts coming in and you are paying your bills and you're comfortable, you'll never rap again.
Nope, life is already set for you.
Life is done, man.
Yeah.
Like it sounds so morbid and so like serious, but it's just me being real because I feel like there's not enough people that are real with artists. Everyone wants to
string them along.
Just keep going, man. You got this. When deep down, they don't even feel like that when they're saying it. They really feel like, yo, that motherfucker needs to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad, bro. Like more people just need to be real with artists. Like, yo, there are some artists who will never make it. And that's perfectly fine. You have to shift. And again, like that goes back to the talk that we had with Vizo. I said, yo, like I needed to find another lane in music that would work for me and would bring in income.
Yeah.
So cue in me becoming an engineer. I wanted to stay in music. And I knew like, yo, I can't keep going and doing the same shit and not seeing results and just think that that's okay. So I have to shift my mentality and become something different within music if I want to work in music. Because it would have been easy for me to just get a career and just say, fuck it. Yo, you gave it a shot. You performed on stages. It was fun. You know what I mean? You had a good little fucking run with rap. It's not like we didn't accomplish anything as far as like, yo, when you were 10 years old, you never envisioned yourself on stage, or maybe you like pictured it in your imagination, but you never thought that it'd be reality.
Yeah.
You on stage and a bunch of people staring at you with a microphone in your hands. Like, to me, that's a win.
No, it's definitely a win. Because not a lot of people could get on stage or even get to that point where they have the nerves to even get on the stage and do that shit.
You accomplishing that is a win.
Yeah.
And if you have to hang it up at that point, you can't turn around and act like you never did anything with music. And you can't let people make you feel like you never went anywhere with music, because all the people from my high school that laughed when I was rapping and shit, that didn't pull up to Webster Hall when I performed, they can never take that away.
Because it happened and you did it.
It happened. Like you weren't there, you didn't see it happen, but it happened. And if you were there, I'm sure it would have changed your mind. But like you were stuck in that zone where you were so against anything positive happening that you wouldn't even want to be there.
And we all at that. We were all at that point in like high school, just jerks and dickheads.
You know, and I get it, like, bro. And you also have to give a little credit to them, because it's like what you're saying you're gonna do is fucking insane. Like, it's not a normal lifestyle. And that's what artists also need to consider, that like people are just telling you that it's not the norm. And it would probably scare the shit out of them if they put their whole
eggs in a basket for like be a rapper.
Right. And they like just kind of like banked on fate happening.
Mm-hmm. That was me.
You know, like
I was banking on fate. And then I was like, oh shit, fate not working. I got to actually start working. And then that's when it's like, once you stop waiting on fate, you start realizing, let me just put some work in, and then it just starts slowly building up. It's just, once again, too, people just don't have the patience. The artists don't have patience. They just want it to be an overnight success, but they said it a bunch of times. Overnight success takes a bunch of years.
Yeah, but see, Bailz, like the one thing that I always give you credit for is just like being able to like take a step back and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like, yo, I've given the same advice to people as far as, yo, you need to market your shit. You need to get on Facebook with it. You need to get on Instagram with it and market your music. And besides you, everyone else has said no. Or everyone else has said yes and then just not
Never
done
did
it. And I would like to think that your whole mentality about music shifted completely, where you thought that it was impossible at one point, and now you have a completely different feeling about it. And it's all because you fucking listened.
Yep. And
like it's not like you did anything crazy, bro. You just listened to someone that you think had a little bit more information than you. You took their advice and you fucking made it happen.
And I just researched it and I just and I applied the shit. And then, like you said, once this shit happened, like I still remember, I released Guillotine on November 27th, 2020. And the shit came out. And then within like a week of using those Facebook ads, I was like at 5,000 streams. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Is this real? This possible? And then fucking 6 months later, I'm at 100,000. It's just like, okay, 500,000 is next. Then a million is next. So it's just like, it's all possible. But I also was able to, like, all this shit ties in from all of our previous episodes too. I'm in a position where a job where I can throw money, and I've been smart with my finances where it's like I could just throw a bunch of money at my music, still live a comfortable life, but I'm also building something on the side.
And it's also just like the fact that you actually listen to someone's advice outside of yourself. That's something that a lot of artists need to do.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of artists have a hard time with. And music's one of the few places that like you could be going nowhere and someone could offer you advice that would help your career and you'll turn it down.
Yep.
Like it doesn't make sense in any other field. If you were a fucking bartender and a bartender that's been working there for 10 years told you, yo, do it like this, you would just take their word for it. But like in music, if someone that you know has been doing it for way longer than you gives you a little bit of advice, you turn around, you're like, they don't know shit.
Yep.
It's fucking amazing.
And that's our advice to y'all. Stop trying to be a hometown hero. Advertise your music. Get out there and grab them audiences from all over the place. And then if people want to rock with you after that, let them rock with you, whatever the case may be. But just remember, this is all like, when you think of, in the grand scheme of things, you just got to go out there and find these people. And once you find them, they're going to come. Like that saying in the Bible or some shit, you build it, they'll come, or whatever that Noah did. I don't fucking know.
As an atheist, I'm not sure.
I have no idea either. I'm just making shit up probably, but who fucking cares?
No, but this, I think that's from Field of Dreams.
I don't fucking know where if you build it, they will come.
They will come. That's from like Field of Dreams. But if you thought that we went on a tangent there, I just want to explain to you that everything that we were saying applies to the Hometown Heroes topic. And it's really just about working your ass off, getting out there for people that are not your direct connections and becoming something. And it all ties in. I mean, literally everything that we talked about in that episode ties into not being a hometown hero.
Yep. Every single fucking thing. Because it's just like, if I wouldn't have taken your advice, I would have been still trying to chase being a hometown hero, being upset that nobody's listening to my shit. And if I would just say, fuck what you saying, I don't care about them ads, I'd be in the same position I'm in right now.
And you want to know the craziest shit? The craziest shit, and we'll end this episode because it's going long. The craziest shit is that you'll never once hear me take credit for anything you did.
And I try to give it to you all the time.
I know, and I don't
away.
accept it. Like, yo, my fault. Like, I feel like sometimes people maybe think that if they take the advice that I'm giving them and they utilize it and they become successful, I'm somehow going to turn around and be like,
try to claim it.
I fucking told him to do.
I'm the one that created you. I'm the one that made you.
It's just not who I am, bro. Bailz is at hundreds of thousands of plays at this point.
Gang.
And I've never once taken credit for anything he's done.
And I be trying to give it to him. It's
But
like,
I'm happy as fuck. And the only thing I will take credit for is being the person to tell him. Outside of that, he did everything. You know what I'm saying? And like, yo, if you just take the advice of someone that's a little bit more knowledgeable than you, you will grow and you will become something. And when you look back and you go, fuck, man, why didn't I just take that advice earlier? It's going to suck because you're wasting valuable time.
yes. Simple
Good?
as that. Yeah, I'm pretty much good. Use them fucking Facebook ads. I got YouTube videos about them. Stop lying. Stop playing. I mean, stop lying.
All right, guys, this is Rappers Guide Podcast, episode 21. We're signing out. This is Diggy Metro.
Bailz Pagliacci.
Peace out, guys.